Do you have the courage to face the fullness of reality? Is there really a war going on between minds? I can only respond to your energy. The wholeness of our human experience cannot be broken into pieces. I'm Mark Roach. I'm here to help you get what you want, what you need, understand the difference. If you've survived trauma, you may know a lot more maybe than you have allowed yourself to realize. If you survive trauma, then you know. If your conditioning is taken over and your authority is in the conditioning, then good luck. You're fighting nature and God, universal forces. And you may win a few battles in the near term, but your children and future generations will pay for it unless you stop and integrate it all. For example, look at AI. I have to make a confession. I do research using Google, some other sophisticated AI tools, and it's just too easy. And don't get me wrong, I think the research is very, very valid to find all the different perspectives that have historically been gathered and deposited in this huge library around us on the internet. When I was a kid, I thought, they told about how limited the words that were in the Bible, they were relying on people before the printing press. They just relied on a few copies of that book that were held in these precious places by these pious priests and powerful organizations that held the Bible and all the knowledge, and everyone was just kind of worshiping and in service to the people that had access to the scriptures, to the words that the masters had collected and that had been divided and conveyed over time. And so now that we all have direct access to so much information, it's a little overwhelming. And then, the other day I reached out, I did a lot of research in philosophy, psychology, neuroscience. I looked back into what mystics had done. I even looked at what advertisers were using, which is, you can't deny the story that everyone really does believe is the story of money. And, we usually put that first and foremost as to whether a train of thinking or reasoning or, whether it has survival truths woven into its the fabric of whatever thought that we're thinking, and everything else is woo-woo, because if it doesn't have that grounding, then it really doesn't make sense to us. And I've been looking into actors and filmmaking and theater, as well as a lot of mystics that have pursued the ability to bring the most into the current moment. And of course, people want to capture that and find a way to reach the divine with their prayer. We're always looking for ways to have more power and control over our lives, and the miracles that we have been told about that Jesus performed are a very powerful story. And they really do, those stories do capture the hopes and dreams that many of us have for the lives that we don't have and the lives that we imagine ourselves or aspire to have. So I'm not getting off topic here, because this is exactly the space that we lose ourselves in when we get too much in our head. And my point is, wholeness is not achievable through artificial intelligence, through only the mental channels and the research that we have. There is something special about our connections, our real one-on-one, one-on-group, connections with each other, where we are confessing and being honest with each other. And I'm not talking about, confessing whatever ideas that you have about good and bad and how you feel guilty or ashamed of this and that. I'm telling you that where we really come together and connect with each other is when we say, I wanted this. This is what my life was about. And this is what happened. And we really share our experiences and our feelings and our wins and our losses with each other. And the words that we have and we capture, in the stories that we write and how we present ourselves, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about really connecting with each other and being honest. And I'm not talking about small talk. I'm not talking about being polite, but I am talking about honoring each other. Because the AI, where I researched, I delivered a speech recently that was really honed and refined using AI. And I'd done research, or I'd used AI research to do research on the Bible and Jesus, neuroscience, these mystics, film and theater. And it turned out bland, empty, and it was not connected. And I didn't connect to it. And you can see it in my presentation of it, that I'm reading it. I believe many of the points, but there's something deeper inside of me that just did not connect to it. And if you let something outside of you be your master, then it makes your life pointless. Meaning is derived from your humanity, not the perfect mental illusions that you've been entrained to worship, to idolize, to turn into your heroes. Those are lies that will only defeat you in the long term. And if they don't defeat you, you're going to leave and you play that game, then you're going to leave your kids and future generations holding the bag for that missed opportunity that you have to be in the moment. But you have to also realize that this message is not for everyone. Only some of us are strong enough to withstand the emotional, the physical, the spiritual, and mental stresses at this point in our evolution. I'd like to help with that. If you let me, share this with those you think might want to share with that, creating that platform, that dream, that future. All the best.